Hey folks, just going to check to see if this is live on the YouTube. Go over here to the YouTube. There is a live video. Click on that. Yes, that is working. Go over here to the YouTube. Okay. Hawkeyes and Harley says, gotcha. Thank you for that. I'm going to move that over a little bit here. And we'll wait a few minutes before everybody comes in. What we're going to do going towards the future is we'll have kind of a countdown video that'll be playing like right now. It'll be a 2 or 3 minute countdown. So there isn't this awkward transitory time. And once the countdown hits, we'll be ready to roll. So appreciate that. Let me test this back. Thank you. Much better video quality. Hawkeyes and Harley says, Hawkeyes and Harleys, what was your name in the crowdcast? I don't know what it was, but I know you must have been there because you said the video quality is much better. And that's honestly, the video quality was one of the big reasons why I chose to search for another platform, because Crowdcast was just not doing it. And then I found this the other night. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and I was up for 5 hours with this, playing around with all the bells and whistles. Okay, Jason, there you go. Thank you. We aren't able to turn on notifications in the app. It says content is made for kids. Let me go see if I can change that real quick. Hawkeye podcast. Hang on a second. .com, Hawkeye podcast. Go in here and change this. Change accounts. Switch accounts. We'll get to the stuff here in a second, folks. Just some of the stuff. Need to figure it out. Manage customized channel. That might be it. Where do I change it for not children's? I may have to do that later on. I don't want to make this tedious. Comments, content, dashboard, settings, community, approved, general, permissions. Yeah, I'll have to look. I'll Google that afterwards. Sorry about that. Okay, Ross has better video as well. Okay, I'm just waiting for my new partner in crime. As I have been, as I sent out to my Patreon subscribers last week, told them first that I was going to be leaving Patreon, which is a pay-for platform, and taking everything free. HawkeyePodcast.com is going to become a Hawkeye destination the first week of March, whether it's March 1st, I don't know, but sometime next week, it's going to be live. There's going to be written content free. Everything is free now. People that, if you have Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the podcast, basically what we do here with these videos, I take the audio file out and I turn it into a podcast. That's going to continue, but now it will be free for everyone. You can't go search for it just yet because the website's not live. Therefore, the podcast feed isn't live yet, but it will all be live next week. So written content, the videos that we've been doing on Crowdcast, that's going to continue. Oh, my partner is in the hizzy. Looks like he's stepping away for a second, so I'll wait for him to come back. Written content, podcasts, video content, pretty much it's free. Everything is free. The only thing that is required of you is to not have an ad blocker on when you visit the site. If you have an ad blocker on when you visit the site, you won't be able to read anything. All you have to do is whitelist HawkeyePodcast.com. That's it. That's it. I will also say, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've learned a lot of things. The advertisers that we're going to have for HawkeyePodcast.com, all local. all state of Iowa or regionally related. I'm not going to take any ads from national third-party vendor platforms, which I used to do back starting in 2009, as that's where you get more malware opportunities. You get more virus opportunities from those type of insertions. Everything we're doing is local. So more information on those advertisers. We have several on board already. There's 3 partners in this, me and my on-air and writing partner that you're going to meet here in a second. Well, this person you're familiar with, but also another individual. I didn't really talk to him yet about saying his name or making it public, so I better not do that until I speak with him. He is the advertising specialist, and I've known this guy for over 15 years. He's a pro. So we already have several sponsors lined up for a website that basically is getting 0 page views. So greatly appreciate those sponsors coming on board and investing in Hawkeye Podcast and what me and my soon to be announced partner will be doing. I think it says a lot about my partner, actually. This is somebody that is a very well-known name in the Iowa Hawkeye community, very respected. I'm just a schmuck that's had a website for a very long time. This individual is actually like, what's the oh brother, where art thou? He's bona fide. He's bona fide. Not so much me. I'm not bona fide. I'm just a web guy. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's bring this individual on, and I think him. That's Marc Morehouse.
Hi, everybody.
There he is.
Is the sound working, John? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Can y'all hear Marc just fine?
Hey, how's it going? Let's do this. I've been sitting on the sidelines too long. Sorry it had to be tonight.
Yeah,
I'm really, watching Jack Nungy. I'm really fingers crossed for a sprain. Didn't look good. I don't think they could know anything definitive yet.
Right.
And I believe me, I've jumped the gun on those. But let's talk about this. John kind of hit me at the right time. I looked for a couple jobs, a couple that I liked. One with a newspaper around here, close to where I live now, which is Galena, Illinois. Decent newspaper I used to work at, and things kind of stalled, and I kind of thought, you know what, I don't want to work for a newspaper again. And then John I don't know if you've had spider sense on this, John, or you just kind of hit me at the right time, let's have some fun. And that's, believe me, every time we start to get in the weeds on anything in this, we both come back to we want to have fun.
Right, and I think I'm getting an echo when I talk. Sorry about that, folks. We'll get these things ironed out.
It could be my sound. Is that better?
Check 1, 2, 3.
Is that better?
Yeah, that might have been it. Folks, is the echo gone? Or is it better? Yeah, I think it's coming out your speakers. We'll
I
get
probably
that
have the camera one on too, so I apologize. I did get this far tonight, so at least there's that.
That's
I've got
right.
2 microphones going, so we'll see. Maybe
right. That's right. There is that, and we will get that figured out. It might be something where it will be best if we both just put our AirPods and use those.
Speakers help. This looks like the speakers helped, and I appreciate. Hey, feedback is the best thing we're gonna have, and people tell me to get away from the mic, turn down the speakers, hang up your phone, turn down your radio. I can't wait to tell people to turn down their radios. It's going to be fun.
That's right. That's what this really is. It's to turn down, Marc. It's turn down your radio. It's almost like you're going to need
first-time caller.
Yeah, it's almost like you're going to need to dial down that audio. But that's the beauty of this and doing things like this is that I remember having the John Miller show back in 2006. And I was terrified when things like this would happen because I thought, oh my gosh, I look stupid or I sound silly. I'm embarrassed. No. The one thing hanging out with these folks the last 4 months, it's become like a fun community and everybody's in it for everybody. So we're just all people hanging out and having a good time, and that's what we're going to do. So in that vein, Marc, I will say if you have, well, I don't think you can do that with your. Maybe go. Let's do this, Mark, on the fly. Go to your system preferences.
Okay, I can do that.
Yes.
Sound?
And the input it's probably your Yeti Nano, correct?
Yeah.
And the output, what does that say?
Ooh, that's way up there. How's that? Is that better,
Check
everybody?
1, 2, 3, 4. Check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, hello, 1, 2,
That's
3.
it.
Ready,
That's
go.
it. Folks, is the
better?
echo gone?
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
the echo gone, chat? I think it sounds a lot better.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
That was it. I think that was it. Okay. So go. Okay. They say it's good. Batty says it's good. It's good. So going back to what you said, Mark, right time. And it was one of those things where the 10 months that I took off, I like really needed that time off. And I'm sure you really needed your time off. But I'm just a builder, man. I'm an entrepreneur, and you and I've bounced ideas off each other the last 3 years, and it wasn't the right place or the right time. But then the person who is handling the advertising sales for this endeavor, he reached out to me out of the blue in December and said, "Hey, are you taking advertisers for Hawkeye Podcast?" I'm like, "Man, not really, because I've got about 400 people. And that's probably not going to provide the bang for the buck that an advertiser wants, because I always want to make sure I deliver for advertisers. I've always felt that personally." And then there's this little idea that came in, and I said, "What about if I take this free? Do you think you could sell ads then?" Well, that's what spun to this. And then we were talking, and I think he might have even said, "Do you think Morehouse would be interested in this?" I said, "Well, let me pick up the phone and call." And
Doesn't hurt to ask.
And here we
are. We go back. It's kind of amazing how far we actually go back, because I think I was on the beat. I started in my first game was 1999, Michigan State, with Kirk calls it the Jurassic Park game. I think somebody was running a listserv, and I saw your name early on.
Yeah.
And this is the first sort of Iowa internet spark, and I watched it blow up, and the whole time I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it's awful damn interesting. And I just watched the internet grow and grow and grow, and watched how many different websites that you started. Josh Clark, a guy I was hear about from Facebook still that very long ago. A lot of successful endeavors, and I kind of hid into the newspaper skirt for a long, long time. But here we are. This makes sense. This would be fun. And as far as advertising goes, I want to make sure it's stuff that you guys would use and need, and probably drink. No, use and need for sure. And exercise equipment, I don't know. I haven't really ever thought that way. But as far as content goes, and John is a very good salesman. He could tell that my face was up against the chain link fence that was the beat writer job, and it just became more of a box than anything else. And after 30 years of sports writing and 23 years of hardcore beat writing, I don't think the guy from the Knicks lasted much more than 20 years. I can't remember his name now, but he ended up on what was that show? Around the Horn.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't remember his name now. 20 years in the Knicks beat. Knicks were dreadful. I think that's about the shelf life. I don't know about, you got superhumans like Rick Brown, Mike Halas, all those guys. Yeah, they were built from a different cloth than I am. The one big thing was why we moved. We moved to Galena, Illinois. My wife really wanted to. Living 20 years in a cornfield that was made into a suburb. We were big tree people, and right now we live in the woods, and that was the huge impetus for this. But John called me at the right time, and I've been watching these, and he's having a great time, and you guys are great too. Let's just, as Kurt Vonnegut says, let's just fart around and see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. And folks, just like we were doing, if some of you tuning in right now were not part of the Crowdcast broadcast, and Mark, if you could maybe dial that speakers down a lot more.
Yeah, is that bad?
Yeah, that was starting to go a little bit more.
I think I got it. I think I see it.
There you go. Get it to where you can hear me, but not much more than that.
Yeah, I'll get some headphones or something.
Yeah, we'll work that out. So over here in the chat, I say over here in the chat. It's over here from where I'm standing or sitting. Throw your questions, leave your comments, and we'll do this. Right, this is our maiden voyage, kind of a tryout voyage. We're just happy to do this live in front of people. But you guys are all going to help us out. So your feedback is going to be great. And we will get this dialed in very quickly. But questions, comments, etc., let us know. And I'm going to show you something really cool with this. Here we go. Watch this. Pulling a question right on screen from Brian Patterson. Officiating didn't lose the game. However, I'm sick of the Big Ten being prideful of having rough games. There's no pride in it. Mark, Brian is hitting on something this is like offensive line blocking scheme arrogance for me, but basketball related.
Yeah.
The Big Ten allows a brand of basketball to be played that I think is more like basket brawl. It's not pretty. It's not how the rules were drawn up, and it just drives me crazy. And that's not why Iowa lost this game. Michigan is a much better team, but man, it just gets so tiresome. And you've been watching Big Ten basketball for a long time.
I'm a huge referee apologist. And here's why. I went. The Big Ten used to have this. The football officials in the Big Ten are with the MAC, and I'm not sure what vein of FCS, but it's called the Big Ten Officiating Consortium, and the Big Ten invited Scott and I to that a few different times. And so I met a ton of officials. I talked to Bob Lamagnier, who told me about getting calls about a call he made. I want to say it was Michigan, Illinois. And some of you guys might even remember the call. But the pain in his eyes talking about, yeah, we blew it. And it's almost like he lived through it yesterday. I'm a huge referees backer. But tonight, some of the way the things went tonight, if you can't take off your glasses, now I don't have to be a beat writer. I don't have to worry about any of that crap. I can pound the officials if I want to. Tonight, it wasn't a great night. Tonight wasn't a great night for the officials. Wasn't a great night for Iowa. I think that compounded things. But right now, I'm with you, John. I'm like, let's get to Nunji's injury. I imagine they probably have a pretty good idea on. Is that the game? Is that from Michigan, John?
This is the stats broadcast.
See, that's awesome that you're able to pull that up, because the stat broadcast for basketball, I'm not sure about those. I'm sure they're fine and great. For football, they are kick-ass. This thing it's got first down efficiency is big for me. These stat broadcast is awesome. It's the one the writers get. So this is good stuff. The writers get at site. So that's awesome. But tonight, it's Nunji. Cross your fingers. Could be a sprain. I don't think anybody's going to jump the gun on the reporting of it. They have to MRI. They got to wait. But they probably have a pretty good idea. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked. But, that's just me hoping. And then Connor, obviously you hope Connor's okay. Tonight, they just looked off. And some night, Breslin's never been an easy place for Iowa basketball. I mean, I know what the record is the last, since Antoine Jobert, but it's probably not great.
Chrysler, yeah, you're right.
Chrysler, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brett, you were dead on Breslin too, and you're right. Prince's little brother, Antoine Jobert, and I say that because I was a kid walking along the concourse at an Iowa-Michigan game when Jobert was there, and somebody was selling, programs. They used to do that back in the day. And he's like, "Get your program here." Prince's little brother, Antoine Jobert. It stuck with me forever. But you're right. It's not been an easy place to win, no doubt.
No doubt about it. Question.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I'm going to go up here and scroll back up, and here we go. This is from LoserTube. Without Nunji, can we honestly expect a deep run in any tourney? That's a great question.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I agree
mean,
with you.
if you look at what Nunji's main value is, at least a second semblance of a big. And I think he can play a big. I think he's effective at the perimeter too. You guys see him hit 3-pointers, but Luka needs a running mate, and I don't know who that'll be now. I don't know if Agunyule's ready for that. I probably slaughtered his last name, but
I think he hit it.
I don't. I think obviously you guys know that's a huge loss, and they'd have to run the offense differently, and especially with CJ playing on 1.5. Maybe I would say, what would you guys say, 70%, 75%?
Yeah, probably 75, yeah.
Maybe 80, maybe. But those are couple of pretty big wheels you want going. And especially the way Nunji's been coming on. I mean, it's been flat out heartwarming to watch the kid realize, why he redshirted, what was happening, the rise in talent, the confidence you could see in his eyes. Just to see that kind of flash before all of our eyes tonight is just a bummer.
It really is. And Marc, honestly, when he went down, it wasn't so much that Iowa lost, because I expected them to lose this game. And I've got the receipts to show for it. I expected them to lose against Ohio State. I expect them to lose this weekend to Ohio State. And then I expected them to win their final 2 games and be a 3 seed in the tournament. And I think those things can still happen. But when Nunji went down, I felt sick. And because of everything that he's been through, the injuries before, losing his father this year, and the longer you live life, the more you realize there's no fairness. Whenever my kids, when they say to me, that's not fair, I always say, hey, listen, we don't sell elephant ears and snow cones around here. There's no fair we're talking about. This is what it is. And it sucks. It sucks for him. But I think without Jack Nunji, Iowa's ceiling may be considerably lower than it would be with him. That's probably my best way to say it.
Sorry, trying to get this camera right. Just trying to make it look like where I sight. Can have some sight anyway. And now it's all fuzzy. There we go. Connor's injury looked like an ankle. I assume his right ankle. Hopefully it's nothing like Hayden Fry and the high ankle sprains.
Yeah.
But he looked upset. So it was an upsetting night. Wait for the injury news and then, kind of reboot. But yeah, I mean, the questions that people are going to have tonight, deep runs and all that stuff, I'd say everything like that is on hold.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a bit of a pause right now. Hawkeyes and Harleys from Jason Beatty. I feel like Wheezy and CJ both played timid. Neither wanted to be the one to shoot. I would say this. Michigan is one of the best defensive teams in the country. I think they were top 6, top 7 of Ken Pomeroy coming into this game. And I said before this game, I was on the air with Ken Miller and Trent Condon this week on KXNO. I said that Michigan is just really long in the passing lanes. And with Big Ten officials, as Big Ten officials will, allow you to grab, to hand check, it makes teams like that even better. The first possession of this game for Iowa, I saw, that's what Michigan's going to do. It was the first possession. They made a basket. Iowa normally inbounds it quickly to Bohannon, who gets up the court on a screamer. And sometimes, even after made baskets, Iowa can beat at least one man from the other team down the court. This time, made basket, going to make the inbound pass. They picked Bohannon up at 85 feet. Bohannon didn't get the inbound pass, and Connor brought it up. That is the kryptonite for Iowa basketball, overplaying their guards high out on the court. And in this case, denying Bohannon even from getting it, and Iowa getting into the lanes they normally like to run. And that's why Michigan's a lot better than Iowa. Gonzaga is a lot better than Iowa. Baylor's a lot better than Iowa. I think that the list of teams that are a lot better than Iowa with Iowa at full strength probably stops there, but without Nunge and Connors, who knows about his effectiveness. Different story, as you said. Pause. What are your thoughts?
I think spacing, to me, that's really Iowa basketball in a nutshell. The spacing on defense, the 2-3 zone, if that can hold up. I do like the fact that they're sticking with man more. And then what Luka does, I think, with spacing, what he's able to do with his physicality and the way he can create space inside. I think without Nunge, that goes away a little bit. I think, I played a lot of adult hockey where I was on a team that was way worse than the other team. Iowa games, we were beaten 20-1, and we were only in it to drink beer. The other teams actually were trying to win a trophies. We were in it to drink beer, and we did. But 20-1, whoa boy! You get into those games, and I'm not saying this was a 20-1 game at all for Iowa basketball, but you get into those games where the other team starts doing things a little bit faster than you, or they're a little more athletic, or you're not able to do like you talked about right there with Bohannon getting to a certain spot and getting stopped.
Right.
You can tell when you're fighting a little bit left-handed, and I think you probably picked up on that to really get Iowa's offense going tonight. Just wasn't there. And so, okay, plan B, and plan B is usually never as good as plan A. And then the injuries, and I think the injuries it all kind of spiraled tonight. And Michigan is not the team where, I don't think, at least this year, Michigan is not the team to have, you can't afford, your guard, you can't afford your best forward off the bench. You just can't afford those guys going down. And then, you need to have the quick counters, and they were not able to get to those tonight. Just a rotten night. There are those. Right? Rotten night, stored away. 4 games left, right, in the regular season?
3 more. Ohio State, and then Nebraska, and then Wisconsin.
So go ahead, John. You read that one.
Yeah, Brian Patterson said that Fran McCaffrey said in the post game that the news related to Connor was good, but that Jack Nunge has an MRI tomorrow. And just in watching that, he tried to put some weight on his right knee, and he was leaning into his guy trying to post up, and then he just limped out of bounds. And right when you see that, Mark, you've seen so many football games. That's usually bad news.
Saw the look on his face.
Yeah.
And to me, John, the look on his face was said a lot. It's almost like he looks like, I don't know Jack very well. I think I might have talked to him once. Scott let me cover a few basketball games back in the day. Actually, one time he was he covered a game from the Big Ten Network truck. I think it was a Wisconsin game. This was it Licklater year? I don't think it was Licklater. It was early Fran, I think. And Iowa beat Wisconsin, or it was a big night for Iowa. And Scott came back and he's like, "Yeah, it's the last time I'll let you cover a game." But anyway, you just have nice. I don't know. It's just a frustrating night.
Yeah.
I saw that there was a good question. Where did it go? Kevin, something was up with 7 minutes left on the bench. I didn't pick up on that, except tonight. I think that it just they kind of broke. Iowa did, and then they kind of found. I don't know if they found anything tonight, but they did kind of break tonight a little bit. I thought, or Michigan kind of broke them.
I think they did, and we're all watching, and I felt sick to my stomach when Jack went down, feeling bad for the kid. These players know more than I do about how hard Jack worked to get there, about how the unity they have, the chemistry they have, and how Jack had the big loss this year with his father. If it rattles me as a 49-year-old guy in Kansas City that doesn't really have a dog in the fight other than I would prefer to see Iowa win every game they play, think about what it does when it's like, a family member. And these guys are tight. Their family, they're tighter this year than they've ever been because they are all they have this year, given the COVID, given their lack of ability to go outside of the bubble. I mean, this is a family. So I can't see how that wouldn't impact them psychologically.
Yeah, totally. I see a few other questions about what about Chris Murray? We're going to find out. We're going to find out about another inside body for sure. Don't know. I'm not sure who that'll be. I'm interested to find out who that'll be because maybe then you kind of with football, some time guys get stowed away and they can't come back, redshirt, blah blah blah. I think with Chris, I guess maybe he could redshirt, but this is a now time for Iowa basketball. This is not. I mean, yeah, it looks dark after tonight as far as the big things that you want to cross off the list, but I think it's all hands on deck. And if somebody's close or pushing, they're going in the game.
Right.
And plus, this is a COVID year anyway.
Right.
So
exactly. Right. Right.
Same for basketball, correct?
Correct. You're exactly right. So it's all hands on deck even more. Yeah. I mean, from what the question or comment is, if Chris Murray is really not far behind Keegan, like Fran said, I don't know where Fran said that. I don't know if that's 100% accurate quote. I'm going to hypothetically say that it is 100% accurate. And I would say that's Fran being Fran. Fran is the most hyperbolic head coach that I've been around. I'm not saying he's the most hyperbolic of all time because I haven't been around all coaches from all time. But everything that Fran said is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's awesome. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having that attitude. But you kind of, or at least I've learned to dial the Fran meter down from an 11 back down to about a 7 to get back on normalcy. If Chris Murray was really not far behind Jack Nunge, Chris Murray would have been playing this year.
Agree. It's a good point.
I don't believe that.
This is the time of the day, when there's an injury like this, people turn over the rocks. I do too.
For sure.
You turn over the rocks and you go, okay, any worms into this one? No doubt. Okay, well, how about this one? So I get that, and that's far down the road. The bubble, not very far down the road because it's basically time's up right now. The me first thing mentioned earlier, Zach P. Iowa's if Luka's not scoring or drawing defenders, the Iowa offense does not go. That's probably true. I would say you put I didn't expect to win this game, and losing players isn't going to help that. That said, down 11 minutes left. This is a lineup question. A lot of people picked up on this on Twitter, and this is a great point by Matt. Odd putting Ulis in when he hasn't played in quite some time. As Fran given up on Joe T. Hard to say on Joe T. I think fans have already kind of pegged him as a guy who's most likely to transfer, and every program does that in football and basketball. I think Joe T's been playing better, been a little more under control, a little more, I think, a defined role. I do think, though, that the me first thing, I think it's okay with this 3-point. I don't want any of the 3-pointers, any of the guys whose contribution to the offense is 3-pointers to stop, including Connor. I want them all to shoot because you got to feel like you can shoot. But yeah, the point about Luka, if Luka's not going, well, Dickinson tonight, Hunter Dickinson. He went up some. Did he get the green light to go early tonight, John? Did he NBA draft? Is he that? I don't know. Really, is he that good? Is he?
I think he's a guy that he's a freshman. I think that certainly another year for him, but he's a better defender and shot alterer than Garza is. He does not have as refined an offensive game as Garza does. However, he definitely has an NBA future to him. He's just different. He sometimes looks like the old Nintendo double dribble animation when he has the two-hand ball above his head and he's kind of spinning awkwardly and throwing things in. But yeah, he's. I mean, that's just you got Livers, you got Franz Wagner, Jiminy Cristo. I'd like to have a Franz Wagner. That guy is like an army knife.
Good looking player.
Oh, he is a really good looking player. I wanted to hit on something. You just said 2 minutes ago or less that the fans have picked up on the fact that maybe Joe Toussaint might be the transfer guy. And I'm like, there are no moratoriums on HawkeyePodcast.com. I like that.
We can talk about the next football head coach now. Mark Stoops. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I was thinking climbing there for a while, but I don't know about that anymore.
It's where you.
We got 6 months to go to football season.
I would love to see at Vegas odds what they think, what they hear. But yeah, we can talk about whatever we want. Joe T. I maybe with a Joe T transfer, but I think his playing time next year is going to go up immensely without Bohannon being around. So kind of play that out. And in basketball, I love how in basketball they kind of guys know early so they can act early. I like that about basketball. I think Iowa football has been fairly, except at quarterback for the most part. If there's a guy who wants to transfer, I think they move him down the pipe. But no inside information. But
right.
That's always the one that that's the player this year that fans go, yeah, he can't be happy here.
There's no doubt, and it's been a topic that we've been chatting about for several weeks, and it won't surprise me if he's not around. But I don't know what the personal dynamics are between Joe and the coaching staff behind the scenes. I just don't know. It does seem like he has a quick hook, but I will say this and reiterate what I've been saying. Joe Toussaint plays out of control. The game has not slowed it down for him. So a quick hook, when the guy continues to make the same mistakes and the same type of errors over and over and over again, what else are you supposed to do as a coach? I don't know.
I thought in one of your chats that I watched, you made a great point about and we'll have a podcast one of these days about the Ken Pom numbers. I'm a total Ken Pom phony. I'll go to the water cooler when there was one, when we were going to offices. And if, these numbers were up for discussion, I would, kind of sidle in and go, oh, yeah, that's the pommiest. That's the Ken Pommiest. And I kind of know what they are. I kind of know what I'm seeing. But you brought up what Joe T looks like in the Ken Pom plane.
Right.
And you said this is what he is. I mean, he's wildly inconsistent. And those numbers reflect. And oh, man, I'm old. I covered Ricky Davis's 1 year at Iowa for the Telegraph Herald in Dubuque. He led the team in turnovers. People forget when his armpit was 2 feet above the rim, he still led the team in turnovers. So I think things are. I think Iowa basketball right now take off the injuries tonight. I think everything you see is fixable. I think it's a confident team. But you bring up the space, you bring up the athleticism where there's open space, they get attacked.
Yeah, they do. And I'm sharing something here. I'm going to share something here. My mouse works. There it is. So this is from Basketball Reference, sportsreference.com. Love this site, live on this site. And there's some things by the time we get to football season, I'm just going to tease it right now. That way it has to happen. Mark and I are really pushing a very fun statistical element to Hawkeye podcast that we think you're all going to like. So these are some advanced basketball metrics. This is offensive box plus minus, a box score estimate of the offensive points per 100 possession a player contributed above league average player translated on an average team. This basically means what happens when this player's on the court. I'm not the biggest plus minus guy at all, but when you have a much larger data pool to compare it to, and you're comparing it to the entire team over a season, look at this. This is a minus 1.9 when Joe Toussaint is on the court. And, I mean, Connor McCaffrey is one of the least faceted starting offensive guards I can recall. Troy Skinner might be better from a scoring perspective than Connor or have more game than Connor. Connor's not a good shooter. I know he's been on a good run lately. It's just, but again, I'm not knocking Connor. He is a great post feeder. I'm glad he's on the team. He's a leader. He's tough. He plays good defense. What I'm saying here is I'm using this as a device to say, you know what my opinion of Connor's offensive skill set is, not passing. Toussaint's a minus 1.9. The only players lower than him are Michael Bear, Nicholas Hobbs, and Josh Agundale, guys that don't play. I mean, there's your answer right there.
That's why you don't see him.
That's it.
Zach P., please tell P-Mac to finish strong at the rim, fading away from his shot, will not draw many fouls. I like this about Patrick's game so far, and you tell me what you think, John. I like that he's looking for a shot. I want him looking for a shot. He's got a creative offensive game. I think somebody on this chat kind of compared him to Kevin McHale. I don't know about that yet, but I think he's got creativity to his game. I like that he's looking for a shot. And, man, when that lineup works, when that lineup comes through, you win at Michigan State by whatever they won by.
Right.
Opposite tonight, that lineup did not help, or any second lineup did not help especially after they became the first option. But I like Patrick looking for a shot. And just like I like Joe T playing under control, moving the offense. I think that was a huge key at Michigan State too. Right.
You threw out a term on Twitter several weeks ago relative to Patrick that it's going to stick with me until he's gone. Slithering. He slithers when he gets to the basket, and that's a great adjective to use. And I started to tweet something tonight, and I didn't. I'm doing that more and more the older I get. Like, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. Delete, delete, delete. And there was a drive that Patrick had in the first half along the baseline, and he went for it. Halfway there, he was like, oh, shiznit, I'm in trouble. Happens a lot with Patrick. The mind sees things, and he starts to go. He does have that aggressive instinct, and there's been several times this year where he's tried to dunk Dr. J style from the free throw line in traffic. I'm like, oh, boy, wish I could have done that. He's at times he plays like a freshman who's not exactly certain on what he wants to do. And you know what? That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's showing what you mentioned. He's showing that desire, that instinct to attack. And I think the more experience he has, I think he's got a pretty good upside.
Yeah, I agree. Throw up a couple other questions.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm going to need to get you the access to this as well, because I like the pacing that you're wanting to keep this as. This is from Matt E. I love Wieskamp, so I selfishly asked this question. He's an NBA-ready shooter, but outside of that, is he ready for the next step? I pray for a senior season where he develops a dribble drive game. I am not an NBA talent evaluator. Matter of fact, I'm not even a very good college basketball talent evaluator. I'm the guy, after all, that said Jordan Bohannon is not a Big Ten point guard, as he's going to be Iowa's all-time assist leader, and he's also going to be he already is the second best three-point shooter in Big Ten history. And I felt that Connor McCaffrey was not a Big Ten level guard, period. Okay, so take this for what it's worth. He is an NBA level three-point shooter.
Agree.
He's 6'5", 6'6", and athletic, and he's going to be getting married. He's engaged to be married. I just would take the under on him coming back to Iowa for another season.
I want to – he'll get evaluated again. I want to know if he's stronger. He isn't able to get to the rim like you'd want, like, say, like a Stam Decker maybe, right?
Right.
So he doesn't really get to the rim like that. He's a better shooter than that. He's got a quick first step. I would still like to see him be a little stronger to finish at the rim. Defensively, does he have that step to keep up? I think he does. So It's going to be a coin flip. Right now, I would say I would say he's probably no more than late first round. So that's the choice.
Right.
Maybe, try to get in on that and get on the NBA path or come back for that senior year. That's interesting about the social, John. I didn't know that he was engaged. That's interesting. I don't know what that does.
It might make hanging out at the
it might
Ped
make
Mall
college
again.
cool. I don't know. Going down to
Yeah.
Joe's and whatnot, but
Right.
I'd say it's probably a coin flip. I think this year though, really no combine for football, but really pay attention to the NBA because Joe coming back next year, probably a first team All Big Ten caliber type player. You want to keep that around.
Right. Chad Wisnett says, any thoughts on Jordan Bohannon's game this year? His shot just doesn't seem to be as lethal as usual. And, I can appreciate that observation. But when you take a closer look at the statistics, like I'm about ready to do here, Bohannon is shooting in Big Ten play 42.1% from three, and he's hoisted 107 attempts in Big Ten play alone. So lethality, I get it. I get what you're saying. He feels less than he has in the past. And in Big Ten play, he's averaging still 11.1 points per game. So I don't know. I get what you're saying, but the stats seem to say he's doing okay.
Timing is everything on the 3-pointers. When you're a 3-point shooter, Can you be clutch? Maybe there has been less of that with Jordan this year, but holy bleep, look what this kid has done in his career. He has a chance. He gave Garza got the assist on Garza's record-breaking basket, leading scorer. He hopes to be able to get an assist again to Garza when he breaks Iowa's assist record. The Chris Street free throw. Thanks for the memes. This guy's Paul Hornung for Iowa basketball.
He is. You're right.
Thank God for that flair. I mean, he's injected so much positive energy into this program. Unbelievable. So, yeah, if you're around for 4 years, you really get to know a guy. And, yeah, guards, if he's not hitting, yeah, that's the problem. Also, I forget about, he's had 2 hip surgeries. It makes, somebody with bad hips feel pretty good. But timing is everything with the threes. And I do hope that there are a couple clutch ones out there for him because it's been a hell of a story. I'd like to see a strong ending for it. Paul Hornung, if he comes to a press conference in a fur coat, I won't even laugh. I'll be like, yeah, that's your guy.
Burning a heater like back in the day. Tony Busan says, people don't realize how debilitating plantar fasciitis can be, painful and really destructive to the quickness, agility. CJ Frederick is really gutting it out right now. And Tony, I agree. I dealt with some plantar fasciitis, which is the only reason I know how to pronounce it, a few years ago myself. Whenever I would wear my cowboy boots working out in the 2 acres we had, it sucked. I felt like I was stepping onto a nail. Did you turn that volume up?
I did. I can turn it down. Okay. Just having a hard time here.
It's okay.
I've had some stress type stuff, and you're right. I mean, let me see. You can't run on your hands in basketball, so it sucks and it's debilitating.
Like that.
I would like to. This reminds me of the one story. 2009 Ohio State. I hate in the press box. It's always on a game day. It's always who's the mystery guy who's out, and that's always the fire that's going on in your head when you're in the press box. Well, okay, Brandon Wager's hurt. Not coming out of the locker room. Well, you found out later that he took a shot in the rib cage. I think he tore some cartilage, which I have done in wrestling. Ooh. And oh my God, it hurts to breathe. So he took a shot, and the shot punctured a lung. And so you don't know everything that these guys go through to get to the field. I don't know if you can freeze what CJ's got going on. And if it's still in a foot, I don't know if that's good long term. So it's just rock and hard place. I love CJ's game. When he's in there, they are energetic. That space we were talking about with when they're getting attacked or when they're bringing the ball up, CJ is quick enough to shut that space down. So they have a guy who can maybe keep up with an AO. I'm sorry if I say that wrong. The Illinois guy with the broken face now. I feel like they have that kind of speed when CJ's out there. Again, they're not able to be full strength, but that's a great point. Is that John? Do you know if that is that confirmed? I think that we're all kind of assuming that
it's not confirmed.
It follows a pattern, right?
Correct. They continue to play him, and he can play sometimes, and he can't play sometimes. If he had any type of stress fracture or anything like that, he would have been shut down. So it's plantar fasciitis. I don't have that off the record even, but we're not all dumb. So yeah, it stinks because that kid has swagger. He has swagger, and he has a lot of game in his bag that we haven't seen yet because of the dynamics of the teams that he's been on. But when next year, when Uncle Luca is gone, you're going to see it.
It reminds me a little bit of Jake Kelly. I think he's got some slash yet we haven't seen in his game, getting to the rim. Maybe he's your Joe. I mean, if Joe goes, maybe he falls into that role if he's healthy. And he gets to be that sort of off guard and get to the basket and shoot the three whenever he wants. But that's next year. Everybody's talking about this year. Let's do a couple more, if we have any.
Let me go scroll through here. Tommy Anderson said, I thought CJ had a great first half, wish he would attack more. And again, it might be tough to push off, but I agree. I'd love to see more of him scrolling up through some things here to see. Okay, Tony Busan again. So going into the Ohio State game, what are the keys, and how do you see Fran adjusting the rotation without Nunji?
So what's Ohio State throw at him? What makes Ohio State good?
Ohio State has a number of guys between 6'4" and 6'8" that are incredibly athletic. They can pressure the ball in the perimeter. They're not that great of a defensive team, but they can pressure. They have the athletes to do it. I think that really with Ohio State mitigating the turnovers, obviously on the road, that's always going to be something you're going to mitigate the turnovers. Don't beat yourself. Without Nunji, I think, okay, if Connor can come back in, then Connor starts. If you're down a Nunji and a Connor, Keegan Murray has been starting in place of Connor when Connor was out, and also CJ when CJ was out. Keegan's now going to have to come in and give you minutes at the 4 for Nunji. It's not going to be a gun delay. It's not going to be Chris Murray. It's going to be the guys that we've been seeing thus far. So it just stinks. Nunji was probably he was one of their most disruptive defenders as well, and I don't know how they're going to get by with that. They're going to have to figure out how to get by. I just think we're probably going to see Keegan Murray at a 30 minutes per game or more level.
Agree, whether he's ready for it or not. I think it's way past whether he's ready for it or not. He's going to get it. And I think he's proven that he is still finding his game, but I love the length and athleticism. I love how he defends. I love that he's looking for a shot more and more. Is he ready for this? Probably not, but I'm not going to count him out. I did actually coach Keegan and Chris, and my kids went to Prairie. The Murrays went to Prairie. I'm not sure where they ended up, but they were in grade school. They were in Prairie, and Keegan and Chris, really quiet, nice kids, always smiling. I was waiting for them to kill people for my team. And they were just too nice. So they look like they've gotten over that.
They have. Cooper Kabbalah. Kabbalah, are you from the West Branch region? There's a lot of Kabbalahs over there. Everyone wants the guards to attack, but it's hard when guards are sitting in the middle of the lane all the time, no space to attack. Cooper, that's a good point. I would also say Iowa doesn't really have many guards that can attack, that can get past that first defender, that are quick enough. And that's not just this team. That's been a lot of the Fran McCaffrey era.
I think Bohannon's a little underrated there. But he gets around guys. He often doesn't. If there's a second wave, he gets shut off.
Mike Cassell.
That's a great point, though, John. It's a great point. I think for the most part, you're right. This team is better at getting Luka the ball in the lane and letting him operate. Frankly, that's what I'm comfortable with, and I assume that's probably the mode they'll fall into. This is going to be, if Luka gets 2 fouls in the first half, cue up those tweets that are coming, because he's going to have to sit. Maybe that problem goes away now, though, John.
It could be going away, unfortunately. I think we've kind of tapped the questions, and folks really appreciate you guys showing up and helping
after a loss.
After a loss, right? After a loss, and helping Mark and I kind of test drive this a little bit. There's some things that we're going to be tweaking. I've already got a headset in mind that I'm going to get sent out to Mark. That's a Wi-Fi headset, Mark. You're going to feel great. I might just get one too, so we can have the best audio quality possible. That's what we're going to do. And go ahead.
Go ahead. I have more computer equipment sitting around right now than I've ever had in my life, but I want to be able to use it right. I want to be able to. My big goal right now, John, is to be able to make gifts from games, and we'll work on that. And
we got 6 months.
Yes, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah. And to that point, folks, we are in the middle of basketball season, and basketball right now is gonna be a big topic. But Mark and I both obviously love football. Mark has been, I think, the best of the best when it comes to covering Iowa football for the bulk of the last 20 years. Iowa is very fortunate to have a number of really good and high quality writers that cover the teams. There's a lot of them, and you're going to read them too. I think you're going to the fan, John Miller, the fan of Marc Morehouse. And I've been telling you this, Mark, for years. Something you alluded to when we started. I'm really excited to read you find this voice that I know you can write in, that sometimes when you work at papers, you get pigeonholed to be something else. I'm really looking forward to seeing you, reading you, hearing you, and explore that space.
Can't wait. I already have a basketball column in mind. It's the impossible math of Iowa basketball. Let me see. I compare Iowa and Purdue Final Fours together in 1980. Their last Final Four was Purdue was 1980. Iowa was 1980. Purdue has been to 10 Sweet 16s since then. Iowa has been to 4. So that's the incredible, confounding, frustrating math of Iowa basketball. And we all feel it. Everybody who follows the program feels it. And, there's a lot of reasons for it. We'll go over that. But I'm sorry about that math. You keep waiting for it to break the other way.
Right.
If there's a casino that comes in with us, we'll talk about that too. Just kidding.
Yeah. No, we will. We will talk about things like that, and it's going to be fun. It's fun to explore those type of spaces as well. And there are a lot of things that are coming down the pike for this. Mark and I are both looking forward to.
We're going to have to swashbuckle somebody so we can have wrestling night.
Yes.
We're going to have wrestling night one of these nights. Also, another idea I had on the old beer blog, which you totally told me hey, you should have a beer blog. And we did for a little while with Justin Van Laer.
Yeah.
And we'll try to figure out open beer thread on Friday nights before football games. We'll try to figure that out. That'd be fun.
That's the beauty of this, because we get to do what we want to do because it's ours. And And Mark and I are going to find our voice together. I'm really excited. We're going to do that. I'm sure that each of us will bring on other guests, and we're just looking forward to bringing as many things to you all as possible, and hope that you enjoy it. So,
yes, we're going to try to have Scott on. Just to get that out there, we're going to try to have Scott on.
Yeah. And we'll do some Ask Me Anything sort of things coming up as well. Like we said, we got 6 months of football, and basketball is the meat on the menu right now. Obviously, with wrestling coming up, Mark had mentioned former wrestling there. I stopped wrestling at the 7th grade.
John, I was horrible. I was 10-10 10 pins, and then I got pinned 10 times.
Feast or famine, baby. The
I
Dave
was
Kenyon.
more of a hockey player, but I did wrestling for 2 years. Quitting wrestling my sophomore year, my dad made me tell the coach, and that was no fun. Tom Rouse, guy with his neck was as thick as his waist. He called the wrestlers wild horse riders. Love that guy. It sucked quitting, but I sucked at it so bad it was a waste of time.
All right, folks. Well, appreciate all of you, and looking forward to doing this many, many more times. Obviously, most of you probably do, but follow Marc at Marc Morehouse on Twitter. My podcast or my Twitter handle is at Hawkeye Podcast. And we are not going to have message boards. We are not going to have a Facebook page. I don't know what happened to Marc. He just disappeared. I did not do that to him. So if he tries to say I did, you tell him otherwise. No message boards, no Facebook page, and no comments sections on stories. We are going to be all about the content. But as you can see with this, with our chats, what we've done, we are also wanting to make you a part of this as well. So that is something that's really exciting, and we'll interact with you on Twitter too. So for Marc, who somehow disappeared, maybe it was an hour time thing, I'm John, and we